deceased members of AOH Division 12. At that point, past National President Ned McGinley is going to do our swear at a wake of a Hibernian. At that point, we want all Hibernians to stay at the grave, and the bagpiper will play Amazing Grace. We then have a moment of silence and we sing to the king. So, brother Hibernian, brothers and sisters, welcome, and parishioners. During most of the 19th century, the Irish Catholic immigrants to the United States were subjected to bigotry, social segregation, and racial intimidation, all under the guise of patriotism by the native population of this country. It was not uncommon to see signs in storefronts or businesses with help wanted, no Irish need apply, for the large cities to have the Irish immigrants dominated by gangs such as the True Blue Americans with the Order of the Star Spangled Banner, or to see their churches ransacked and burned to the ground. In March of 1836, a group of Schuylkill County coal miners, all members of the Hibernian Benevolent Society, traveled to New York City's St. Patrick's Day Parade and met with members of St. Patrick's Fraternal Society. The fruits of this meeting can be seen here today. That meeting led to the beginning of the ancient order of Hibernians in America, with divisions and charters granted simultaneously on May the 4th, 1836 in New York City and Cass Township, Pennsylvania. After the American Civil War, when the local immigrant miners tried to better their working conditions and organize a labor union, bigotry and greed once again raised its ugly head. 20 Hibernian brothers were hanged as alleged Molly Maguires. Under pressure from the Bishop of Philadelphia, who excommunicated all members of the AOH in the coal fields, the National Convention cut off all divisions in Carvin, Columbia, Northumberland, and Schuylkill counties. In the early 1800s, they were reinstated and membership once again grew. The original Cass Township Division was reformed in 1902 and became known as Division 12, whose members we honor here today. A few years back, the Cass Division organized once again and are hosting our ceremony here today. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, within this cemetery lay the remains of at least 31 members of Division 12. It is right we remember and honor them, for some of them may be the sons or brothers of the founding fathers of the ancient order of Hibernians in America. At this time, we will conduct a prayer service that is normally done at the wake of a deceased brother of the AOH. We will now call out a name of a deceased member and an current AOH member who will place the flag. I'm going to start as the list that Jimmy Callahan, who organized this, cannot be here today. We have Jim and his son in our prayers, and we're going to go by his wishes. Sean O'Brien from the Cass Township Division will be placing a flag on the grave of John Brennan. Joe Wayne, President of Gerardsville Division, will be placing a flag on the grave of John Quinn. Paul Noon of the Gerardsville Division will be placing a flag on the grave of Patrick J. Bergen. Bob Whiteman, Cass Township Division, will place a flag on the grave of Jeremiah Mahone. Charles Moran Jr., Cass Township Division, will place a flag on the grave of Thomas Grace. John Garrity, Cass Township Division, will honor Michael Sweeney at his grave. Leo Haley, President of the Pottsville Division, will place a flag on the grave of Thomas Campion. Jim Wisnowski, Pottsville Division and County Secretary, will place a flag on the grave of William Litchfield. Dave Fogarty, Cass Township Division, will place a flag on the grave of Matthew Brennan. County Board President Bob Fallon will place, and also a member of the Gerardsville Division, will place a flag on the grave of William Delaney. Pat Burster of the Gerardsville Division will place a flag on John Ford's grave. Bill Garrity Sr., Cass Township Division, will place a flag on the grave of Papa Canfield.
I got the one I put on my grandfather.
John O'Brien, Cass Township Division, will place a flag on the grave of John Kennedy. Eugene O'Brien, Cass Township, will place a flag on the grave of Michael O'Brien. Bill Dewald, Pottsville, I'm not sure, I'm sorry, I didn't get your division. Bill Dewald will place a flag on the grave of Ed Lipton. Bob Fallon, Gerardsville, on the grave of Joseph Aran. Pat Burster, Gerardville, will place a flag on the grave of Thomas Kilcullen. Frank Smith of Gerardville will place a flag on Michael Hogan's grave. Tom Dempsey of Gerardville will place a flag on the grave of Francis Bamber. Pat Burster will place a flag on the graves of Peter Ford. John Gunn, Gerardville Division and County Vice President, will place a flag on the grave of Alex McDonald. Bobby Whiteman, Cass Township Division, will place a flag on the grave of Michael Burns. Bill Dewalt will place a flag on the grave of John Lavin. Charles Moran, the Cass Division, will place a flag on the grave of William Pendergrass. Charles Moran Jr. will place a flag on the grave of Michael Brennan. John Elliott, Gerardville Division, will place a flag on the grave of Michael Murphy. Past National President Ned McGinley and Joe Clark of the St. John Newman Division No. 2 of Wilkes-Barre will place a flag on the grave of Joseph Hughes. Robert Doyle, Cass Township Division, place a flag on the grave of Peter J. Brennan. Robert Keating, Cass Township, place a flag on the grave of Thomas Charles. Jeff Doyle, Cass Township, place a flag on the grave of James Boland. Jim Doyle, Cass Township Division, will place a flag on the grave of John Comerford. Charles Moran will place a flag on the grave of his relation James Grace. And Brian Garrity, Cass Township, will place a flag on the grave of Dennis Callahan. I'll ask Ned McGinley to please come back to the tent to do our prayer.